Usman Nurmagomedov, 100% the real deal. When have you ever seen a guy that can kick like this and wrestle like this? A full-blown Nurmagomedov Dagestani wrestler that's got kicks like Stephen Thompson and ground and pound like Khabib. This guy is absolutely worth studying, and that's what we're going to do in the ultimate Usman Nurmagomedov breakdown. There's a lot of interesting things when it comes to this guy, but the thing to note in particular is elite kicking is going to meet elite wrestling. Usually when you meet a guy with really good kicks, the wrestling is suspect and they get taken down. That's been historically the case. There's been exceptions. Stephen Thompson comes to mind. But 9 times out of 10, a real good kicker, they get taken down. But Usman, when he throws up kicks that you usually get punished for, and the opponent rushes in to make you pay for them, it's probably worse. Usman gets the clinch, but this is a full-blown Dagestani wrestler with Nurmagomedov as the last name. Immediately turns the opponent, right? He's going to actually block this knee. This knee that the opponent throws does nothing. He throws back his own big knee. Remember, he's like a gorilla in the clinch. And then he immediately throws in that outside trip, gets the opponent down here. Watch, he switched to a single leg, sits the opponent down on his butt, reaps up that front headlock, and then immediately starts applying the guillotine. So trying to make this guy be punished for the kick actually made things substantially worse and ended the fight. You can't punish him the way you normally punish a kicker. Here's another example. Usman whips up that high roundhouse kick. Right? Break this breakdown into 3 parts. Part 1 is the kicks. Let's take a look at the full arsenal of this kicker, because I dare say his kicks are elite, as good as anybody's. Part 2, we're going to be looking at the takedowns and the clinch. He's a full-blown Dagestani wrestler with Nurmagomedov as his last name. We need to study some of the wrestling here, some of the entries for the takedowns, how he's getting in, how he's finishing. We'll take a look at all that in part 2 of this breakdown. And then in part 3 of this video, we're going to be taking a look at what this guy does on the ground, because he's got ground and pound as good as anybody. He's blasting people, you know, Dagestani handcuffs, all the stuff you've come to like from Khabib. This guy's doing it. And he's even got these long legs with all this flexibility. So there's even more things to take a look at. We're going to take a look at all that in part 3, and that's all in this one video because I love you guys so much. We're going to break all this down. Immediately, I noticed his use of the low side kick. Probably the most underutilized technique in the sport. Specifically to the leg, specifically to the knee. Technique is best when you have the opposite leg forward as your opponent. This creates a situation called open stance, meaning that opened angle. Contrary, if you have the same leg forward as your opponent, it's called closed stance. Notice that angle is now closed. You throw the low side kick from an open stance situation. You are throwing probably your longest, most powerful kick at the very vulnerable closest target, which is his knee. It being so long and the knee being so close and vulnerable makes this technique so philosophically sound. It has other advantages too. One, it's very hard to catch. It's very hard to reach down and grab it. 2, it is hard to counter. Even if I miss, because I'm so far back, because the technique was so long and I'm just going for something so close, it's going to be hard to punish me and I'll be able to move away quickly. Third is, unlike a round kick to the leg, you can absolutely boot someone with this thing and it doesn't really hurt your own leg. If you slam someone with a real hard tie kick, odds are you're hurting your own leg. Not much so with the side kick. And it also works to the body. We're looking at 2 ways to throw the side kick. One is he lifts the chamber right up. Then immediately after that, he's going to hop in on his supporting leg and then throw the kick, like so. He'll typically throw this way to the knee as well, but this hopping side kick is one way. This kind of sliding side kick is another. He's going to move his rear leg up. Now, with his feet kind of together, close a little distance, he brings that chamber up. Now he's going to hop forward on that back leg and deliver the side kick to the body. Typically, he'll do a feint with this one as well. Kick a fake punch and then deliver the kick. But he's proficient in really all manner of the side kick. And Stephen Thompson's the only other one I can think of that uses the side kick to the body this much at this level, but Stephen Thompson doesn't have that wrestling behind it, which is the crazy part. He's also got a killer low kick, killer tie kick. From the open stance, like we talked about earlier, this low kick will hit the inside of the leg. And while this kick isn't as painful as a closed stance situation in which it's an outside low kick, Usman still does substantial damage with it. You can tell he hurts him, and you can tell he gets him out of position when he throws the kick. And from this closed stance situation, he has a killer outside low kick. And this really shows the variety of kicks. He has like the Taekwondo-y kicks and the Muay Thai kicks. He'll also throw this one either outside to the thigh, like that, or he'll crush you in the calf with it, right? That's all the rage these days. Crushes him in the calf with it, like that. And when he's landing these things, full shin. I mean, really everything you'd want from a low kick. He's fully capable of doing death by low kick, right? He's that level of kicker where he can do all the Taekwondo stuff and death by low kick. He can also really start to crush you with the low kick when he gets the classic hook, lead hook to low kick in there. Just incredibly effective with this basic combination where you throw the hook, that hook puts the opponent's weight on the leg you're gonna kick, and then you just crush it. You just go for it, you just crush it, you know. Here's a more clear example, boom. So he's really proficient in all manner of striking, from the more traditional martial arts to the Thai way. I even see him throw more of an instep kick as a leg kick sometimes. Kind of like a flick to the leg versus a full-blown Thai kick. You know, and like any really good low kicker, he's gonna gradually work his kicks. And you're gonna find out later he tends to go straight for the head, but he'll go for the body as well. And he tends to do it two different ways. One, he gets more of this instep kick, more of the traditional Taekwondo-y kind of way, right? Little flick to the body. The second is the full-blown Thai shin to the body. Once again, showing this versatility of the Thai kicks and the more traditional martial arts kicks, learning how to kick with multiple parts of the legs with multiple speeds. However, when it comes to throwing kicks to the head, he's going pure shin. We're going pure shin on tempo, and we'll do this either from the open stance, like you're seeing right here, opposite legs forward, big shin kicks to the head, or we'll see it from the closed stance, like you're seeing now, big shin kicks to the head. And to all my striking connoisseurs out there, I think you're recognizing these are really good kicks. These are very technically sound kicks. And he's getting away with it too, because, you know, whenever he goes to throw it, person really has to back up. Usman really excels is the lead high round kick. This really shows what a master striker, especially with the kicks, that he actually is. He does two versions, just like the side kick. One, slides up, chambers the kick, releases the kick. Nasty. Number two, chambers immediately, hops forward on the supporting leg, throws the kick. Number three, steps in with that rear leg, chambers the kick, throws the kick. However way he throws it a lot. It's not just something he throws once in a while. It is a full-blown part of his game, almost like a jab. He can throw it with impunity. He can throw it as much as he likes, because even if he misses, one, the dramatic reaction, you back up, you can't punish him. And two, even if he misses, you're not going in, because that's a full-blown Dagestani wrestler on the other side. In my studies, I came across something interesting. A kind of hybrid between a snap kick and a push kick. I'm not talking about something like this, right? He can clearly throw just a nice push kick, teep kick from Muay Thai. What I'm talking about is more of a hybrid between a snap kick, which comes from underneath, and then a push kick afterwards. So he snaps up, watch the chamber, path of the kick goes up, stabs you, and then pushes you. A combination of these two methods, coming up, stabs, pushes away. Very interesting. Probably his most dangerous technique, the question mark kick. A kick that is designed to look like first either a push or a snap kick, and then bring the guard of the opponent down, all the while the kick comes up top. Here's another example, really dramatic one. This looks like the front or snap kick. Here's the guard of Benson Henderson dropping, and here's him getting crushed by that kick. Makes Usman ultra unique. He can throw it with either that rear leg, like you're going to see here, or he can throw it with his lead leg, like you're going to see here. That is pretty spectacular. Dude's also got a mean spinning back kick. Gotta give it to him. Killer spinning back kick. He'll either throw it from the stationary position or he'll step in with the rear leg first and then throw that spinning back kick. Don't forget, when you got kicks this good, you open up a whole world of fake kicks, right? Levels to this. Start kicking them so much, you can start feinting. Dude backs up. Here's another one. Immediately reacts to that. Sets up a different kick. So, feint kicks are a full part of his game, and the fake takedown is in this as well, right? Whenever someone with the last name Nurmagomedov does that to you, you gotta back up. He can pretty much get a reaction out of you anytime he wants, right? You have to respect the wrestling he's bringing to the table, because it's probably worse than the kicks that you're dealing with, even though the kicks are really bad. Let him shoot for takedowns now. Let's see him close the distance and grab those legs. I think the easiest way to break this down is, one, you've got your proactive takedowns. These are the takedowns that Usman will initiate, usually by throwing strikes. So we're going to see here, he throws out that big straight left, and then he's going to change his levels and shoot in. He gets the opponent's leg up in the air, and then he's going to pressure down in order to sit the opponent down. Here we're going to see another one. Usman goes in, he throws the jab, immediately gets his knee behind his opponent. Now he's going to bring him to his right with that top arm. And notice the two grips here, one on the leg, one on the head. He's going to use both of those to sit down the opponent. And we've got immediate back control after he does that. I call that move a knee trip, right? It's something a lot of Russian fighters, including Fedor, did. What they do is they throw out a strike, like you're about to see here. Throws the jab, and during that strike, he gets his knee behind your knee. When he does that, he's going to dump you over to the side of the knee that he blocked, and he can get you real off balance or take you down. I made a Fedor video that covers all of this. You can find it in my channel. Final thing I've seen him do to be proactive on the takedown is he'll do some kind of jumping technique, like a flying knee. Use that to grab the legs. Khabib did that flying knee thing too as well, and then use that to take you down. Now let's take a look at some reactive takedowns. Shooting in as someone's trying to strike you, right? Trying to go underneath those shots. Reacting. So notice, opponent throws out the jab here. As the opponent pulls the jab back, Usman's already shooting for those legs, and it's too late to stop him. Textbook. Here we see again, opponent misses the cross. Usman underneath, grabs the leg, lifts with that knee tap, takes him over the top. Here we see another reactive takedown. Lifts up his leg, opponent misses the kick. During the time the opponent's off balance, he's on him, like white on rice. Single leg, switches it to the double, turns that corner. Perfect. Usman can also deliver real power from the clinch. Clinch strikes. Case in point, he's knocked 2 people down with this big shot. He's dropped 2 people with this move. You know, he looks kind of slim, so you don't think he'd be so powerful, but he fucking brings it. That's with every move from the clinch as well. I mean, he's a killer everywhere. He's really good on the outside. He's really good with the wrestling. But even if he gets you against the cage, he's got good knees. You know, he's able to bring big elbows from all kinds of weird angles. This guy is the real deal. This guy is he as good as Islam? I think so. I mean, he's might be the best 155-pounder in the world. And he's good with grabbing the low kicks. And he's got 2 interesting ways to do it. Watch this. The first way is when the opponent throws the kick, right? He can see that kick coming now, Usman. He purposely turns his leg so that the kick ends up hitting his butt instead of the perennial nerve. And then he's able to scoop up that leg. And here we're going to see him just dump his opponent for the takedown. The second way is when that low kick comes, he's going to lower his level, squat down, so that the kick slides up his leg and becomes a body kick. Now he's going to use that grabbed leg to finish a big sweeping takedown. We're going to start transitioning now to more of the ground techniques. But before we do, Here's a really interesting thing he'll do from standing. This is like a standing lockdown. If you're a 10th planet guy, then you know what a lockdown is. But this he does from holding his opponent's back. So watch. Outside hook comes in, right? That right leg is over the opponent's right leg. Now throws the left leg over the top of his own right leg, and then hooks that left ankle behind the leg of Usman, and he's bent over. So he's carrying all the weight of Usman as he's in that lockdown from the standing position. Right, so now we've got, he's a little too high, and this is something that's going to be interesting. They don't want to fall off the top, these Dagestanis, and to do that, they throw one hook in long and one hook in short. I can only call this the short and long hook. Something about this is able to keep them on top without falling off. They can base on that leg and create space they need in order to strike. It's actually a very stable position, this one short hook and one long hook. Alright, now this is really interesting. Usually you don't cross the feet, right? There's an old myth, you don't cross the feet, but look, he crosses the feet and he has one foot underneath of Benson's left leg. So when Benson crosses the feet, he's got 2 feet under his opponent's feet. It's usually not like that. It's like almost locked in tighter now because 2 feet are just stuck underneath 2 legs of Benson Henderson. So that was interesting. Benson rolls. Look at this, right back to the long and short hook. Right? This is a big position to take away from this breakdown, I'd say. The long and short hook is a great way to have the hooks in and actually be able to stay on top of the opponent without rolling off. We'll go into some more of the individual moves. He does do that leg triangle you saw Khabib do. It's become very popular now. I'll show you this clip of it, kicking over the leg, getting the triangle. I'm not going to go super in-depth with it because I've made a couple videos on this subject now. Check out my Khabib video. I think I call it the Russian triangle, if you want to learn more about that. And speaking of triangles, 2 variations of the body triangle he uses. The first one being this inside hook. And what I mean by that is he's going to throw on the body triangle. Look at that hip mobility, right? Throws that leg over before this guy can bring his knee up in an attempt to shrimp or get back to his knees, right? Beautiful hip mobility. That's where the kicks come from. Now, immediately, he starts positioning himself in a way so he can lock in that body triangle from the top position, right? So now it's the traditional body triangle. Foot is under the knee like a triangle choke. Look at this. Look at this wrist control and this wrist pin here that he's got on the left arm of his opponent. And we've got the top triangle on top, right? Which is rare to see someone continue it as the opponent gets towards their back, like you see here. So he's able to keep it from all kinds of positions. And you know, this is pretty unique. Usually when someone gets that body triangle, they roll off to the side, either side, like a traditional jiu-jitsu way. But he just stays on top. And this is where you can see the inside hook. This is where this comes from. Is see that foot there? He's putting it inside of his opponent's leg. You can really see it there. That gives an extra level of control to the hold, and that's what makes this a body triangle with an inside hook. Here's a pretty interesting angle of it too. You can see it's like a body triangle, but it also has some elements of like the lockdown attached to it too as he throws that leg underneath. Quite a powerful hold. You know, he's got those long mobile legs with all that wrestling background. This is pretty special. All right, so we had a body triangle with an inside hook. Now let's take an example of a body triangle with an outside hook. So we can see here already Usman's got the back. As his opponent begins to turn, Usman throws on that body triangle. We've got that leg locked behind his own knee. And what we're going to look at here is that left leg, the leg that's on top of the lock. He's going to slip in underneath the leg of his opponent there. And he's doing it from the outside of his opponent's leg versus the inside, thus making it an outside hook instead of what we looked at, which is an inside hook. Both allow you to control the opponent better than just the body triangle alone. And here's something I thought was really interesting, right? This takes just tremendous awareness of where you are in the cage. This takes someone who knows this game like the back of his hand. But watch, as Patricky Pitbull starts to back up towards the cage, Usman immediately turns and puts his own feet onto the cage, right? This blocks Patricki's ability to use the cage to stand up. Tremendous awareness by Usman here. Would he even be from Dagestan if he wasn't using some variation of the Dagestani handcuff? I'm not going to go super into this one because my video on Khabib already went really into it, as well as my video on ground and pound. But this is basically a way to use a wrist ride and keeping in your opponent's half guard against the cage in order to just land some vicious ground and pound. You know, every time they try to get up, you pull them back in with the wrist ride. They call the wrist ride the Dagestani handcuff these days. And then you just start beating on him. So if he tries to get up, you suck him back down. He tries to get up, you suck him back down. And I mean, it's brutal, man. Check out my video on Khabib, or just check out Michael Johnson fight Khabib. That's where you really see it get the most. Well, this here is just brutal, too. Final thing I'm going to mention is he, you know, I've always seen him done this once, but I've seen him do this chicken wing thing. That looks like it's the most painful thing in the world. Look at him hold his opponent's own arm behind his back like this. Doesn't that just look like the most miserable thing you've ever seen in the world? My God.